There is something happening in your sky today, Aquarius, that most horoscopes will flatten into a single good day or bad day verdict. Yours is not that simple. You are carrying two different emotional currents at once, and if nobody explains why, you will spend today confused about your own mood swings. Let us actually look at what is happening up there. Start with the moon. Today, the moon sits in your own sign, Aquarius, which in Western tropical astrology means the sky is, in a sense, holding up a mirror to you. Whatever you are feeling it amplified. But the moon is not sitting there alone. It is forming a trine, a smooth, cooperative angle with Mercury, and depending on which tradition you are following, that Mercury is described as sitting in Cancer or in your sixth house of work and daily routine. Trine is one of the easiest aspects there is. It means these two planets are talking to each other without friction. Practically, that translates into a rare kind of day. Your emotional instincts and your practical, thinking mind are actually cooperating instead of arguing. Here is the catch, though. The moon in your own sign can also stir up something less comfortable. Because you are more emotionally exposed than usual today, you may notice disappointment creeping in around people close to you, not because they have changed, but because your expectations have quietly climbed. Take a breath here, because this next part is personal. You might be holding the people in your life to a standard of perfection that even you could not meet on your best day. That is not a flaw. It is just today's weather. Meanwhile, there is a longer story running underneath this one. Several of today's threads point toward a bigger financial reset that has been building, one that stretches all the way toward 2027. This is not about one lucky Tuesday. It is about you sitting quietly with your own spending patterns, your salary, your real estate, and asking what has actually been on repeat. Something in your financial life has been stuck in a loop, and the current alignment is less interested in giving you a quick win and more interested in showing you the exit door from that loop. That is the big picture. Now watch how it plays out across the rest of your day. Let us talk about your relationships first, because that moon in Aquarius sensitivity does not stay contained to your inner world. If you are single, the same open, cooperative energy from that Moon-Mercury trine may bring a pleasant surprise your way, nothing dramatic, just an unexpected spark of interest that catches you off guard. If you are partnered, today rewards you for stepping outside routine. Many people with this kind of aspect report that ordinary logistics conversations, who is doing what, who is carrying more of the invisible work, suddenly become easier to have without either person getting defensive. The cosmic weather favors honesty over performance right now. If a disagreement with a family member or partner has left things feeling slightly off, that tension is less a warning sign and more an invitation to actually ask the question you have been avoiding, then genuinely listen to the answer instead of rehearsing your reply while the other person is still talking. This is where today's chart takes an unexpected turn. The same placement that makes you sensitive today is also what makes you unusually good at hearing what someone else actually needs. That is not a coincidence. It is the trine doing its quiet work. Now, let us follow that same cooperative energy into your work life, because it does not stop at your relationships. The Moon-Mercury trine is famous for making practical, detail-oriented tasks feel almost satisfying instead of tedious. If you have been putting off following up on a project, a client, or a pending task at work, the morning hours are shaping up to be unusually favorable for it. This is not a day for grand career leaps. It is a day for tightening loose bolts, the kind of unglamorous work that quietly determines whether next month feels smooth or chaotic. And here is the part most people miss. The same energy that is helping you organize your task list is the identical energy that is helping you organize your finances, because in astrology, resources and routines often move together. Which brings us to money, which today is asking for more attention than usual. Your financial picture right now has two layers, and it is worth separating them. On the immediate daily level, this is genuinely a good stretch for reviewing subscriptions you are not using, tightening a budget category that has been quietly bleeding money, or catching an expense you did not realize you could cut. Take a magnifying glass to your own spending. Many people find money they did not know they would left on the table simply by looking closely instead of glancing quickly. But underneath that, everyday tidying is the bigger story we touched on earlier, the slow farewell to an old financial pattern that has been running on autopilot. This is less about one dramatic decision and more about noticing, quietly, what your life budget could look like if that repetitive loop finally stopped repeating. The energy today suggests that whatever breakthrough you have around money right now might not just help you. It might be worth passing on to someone else who is stuck in a similar loop. Here is what makes today genuinely worth paying attention to. You are simultaneously being asked to loosen your grip on the people around you, forgive their imperfections, stop expecting flawlessness, while also being asked to tighten your grip on your own habits and finances. Stop tolerating the loop that has been costing you. Most people will experience these as two unrelated moods. They are not. They are the same lesson, aimed in two different directions. Where you are too demanding of others, ease up. Where you have been too easy on yourself, tighten up. That is today's whole story in one sentence. Let that sink in for a moment, because it changes how the rest of today should feel. This is not a day of contradictions. It is a day of recalibration. That recalibration extends into your body too. Right now, your physical energy is generally solid, and your work is moving in a good direction, but there is a specific note worth taking seriously. Pay attention to your eyes today and lean toward better quality fats in what you eat. Small, unglamorous, practical. If you are drawn toward remedies or deeper practices, some Vedic practitioners might suggest Saturn-related rituals, certain mantras or color choices for people whose birth charts specifically support them. That is not universal advice, and it is worth remembering that gemstone prescriptions in particular require real chart analysis rather than a blanket recommendation for an entire sign. What is safe for everyone, though, is simpler. The color blue is considered favorable for you today, and the window between 4:30 and 6:30 in the afternoon carries a slightly luckier charge, worth keeping in mind if you are deciding when to have an important conversation or make a decision. Speaking of conversations, that same sensitivity you are feeling around friends and partners extends naturally into family life. If a disagreement with someone close has left the air feeling a little different than usual, resist the urge to fix it with a grand gesture. Small, honest, low-drama conversation tends to work better under this kind of aligned, cooperative aspect than any big dramatic reconciliation attempt. And socially, this is a good stretch to say yes to plans rather than default to isolation, even if your instinct today leans toward staying quiet and internal. If you are considering travel today, this is one of those moments where patience serves you better than movement. The energy favors staying rooted, staying close to what is familiar, rather than adding logistical stress on top of an already introspective day. That stillness is not a limitation. It is an invitation. With the moon sitting in your own sign, a quiet day at home can feel less like missing out and more like finally getting to hear your own thoughts without interference. So here's where all of this actually lands. Sit with your budget today, even for 20 minutes, and notice what has been on repeat. Have one honest conversation with someone close to you, and actually listen to their answer instead of preparing your defense. Lower your expectations of other people by exactly the same amount you raise your standards for your own habits. And if a surprising insight shows up while you are doing any of this, do not just keep it to yourself. Whatever clarity you find today about money, about relationships, about the loops you are finally ready to close, is worth sharing with someone else walking a similar path. That is usually how these things work. The insight that quietly changes your year rarely arrives with fanfare. It arrives while you are sitting still, paying attention, willing to let go of what already proved it was not working.